It's 4:30 a.m. Central Time. I'm here in Pensacola. I'm traveling down to Fort Lauderdale for the Public Defender's Office to work on a computer crime, to examine a machine that's down there that was involved in a child pornography case. There's really not a heck of a lot more I can say about it. I don't want to be put under a gag order, but nonetheless, I have to look at a machine and figure out how it got there. And I'll be leaving to head down to Fort Myers. I have not seen my father since Christmas, so since it's the 4th of July weekend, and I'm taking a trip down to Fort Lauderdale anyway, we're going to have a little road trip on down there. We're going to surprise him. So, I'm in the car now, and I'm headed, leaving my office. I stopped at my office first to make sure my insurance card was printed out. I got a brand new insurance policy. It just started beginning of this month. Today is, of course, the 4th of July. It is Sunday, the 4th of July. I wanted to make sure I had the documentation with me necessary for the trip. And I'm headed out onto the interstate now. Probably got about an hour to go before I'm going to need gas. So, stick around. I almost forgot to add that my grandmother has moved down from New Jersey to live with my father now down in Lehigh Acres. Her birthday just happened, and unfortunately I was sick on the day of her birthday. I was supposed to call her that evening, but because I was having such agony, I was in such pain, I was just feeling so miserable that I wound up not calling her. I went to bed. So I think this will make up for the fact that I missed the phone call. A surprise trip would make her very, very happy. So we'll be seeing them sometime shortly after lunch. I imagine it'll be about 1 or 2 p.m. Eastern time when I get over there. So got to figure out where they're at. That's going to be the trickiest part. I wanted to get up there in the morning, but naturally when you try to leave for a trip, you know, it's difficult to get everything in order. I had to make sure my insurance card was printed. I had to make sure that all of my paperwork for this job that I'm doing down at Fort Lauderdale was all put together. So there was a lot of things that I had to organize before I could go ahead and leave. Alright, I'm just pulling onto the interstate right now. But that takes about 7 hours and 45 minutes roughly if you don't drive like a complete lunatic. If you tend to drag your butt, it'll take, 10, 11 hours. One of my friends says it takes him 11 and a half hours to drive from Fort Myers to Pace. And Pace is a whole lot closer to him than Pensacola is. It's another half an hour or so. So he drives really slow. So we're going to see him hopefully this weekend too. I haven't seen him in a couple years, so it'll be fun to have some Chinese buffet with him. That's one of his favorite things, is to go out for Chinese buffet. One of the other interesting facts about driving from Pensacola to see my father down there in Lehigh Acres, you don't leave the state. You stay within the state of Florida. Some people say, oh, Florida's not that big. It's only 100 miles long. Well, actually, it's almost 500 miles long. We have to travel way across the northern part of Florida on I-10, so there's a trip on that. I want to say it's about 3.5 hours. And then when you get on down to I-75, it's about another 4+ hours to get down to Lehigh, and that's a really, really long, tedious drive. There's not a heck of a lot to see in the northern part of Florida. I generally do it at night because there's nobody on the road at that time. Once you get around this Tampa-St. Pete area on I-75, the traffic speed starts to pick up. I mean, it really starts to pick up. You could be doing about 90 miles an hour just to keep up with traffic, and people are still flying past you. But that's one of the reasons why it takes only 7 hours and 45 minutes for me to make this trip, is because when I get to that area, people are just hauling ass, and it moves rather quickly. Here's Pensacola's I-10 bridge. At night, of course. This is the bay. Of course, you can't see it now, but this is the bay over here on the side. And this is all full of oil right now. I covered that in one of my other videos. So anyways, the bridge is kind of long, goes up and over, and it has a couple of weird turns in it. And the reason for that is because they built it alongside of the old bridge that used to be here that was destroyed by Hurricane Ivan. And there's photos of that all over the internet. About how it broke apart into multiple pieces, and then some poor 18-wheeler driver actually was on the bridge trying to make it across during the hurricane when it collapsed out from under him and killed him. But the trailer from the truck was still there after the storm, and that was kind of an eerie reminder that the truck driver had died. Now this is the first time I've ever seen this. $279 for 89 or $279 for 87. Oh, such a hard choice. I think I'll go with the 89. This is the same gas station that I was at last Christmas when the cop had tagged me on radar. I was coming on the interstate this way, and I got off, and this was all full of traffic. So I came on out over here, and I went around the building and pulled over here just to get gas. And I saw him come on down here with his lights all on, and he slowed down and got to about there, and he looked around, and then he rocketed down the road that way. So I got... And there's the 4th of July sunrise. Alright, almost 300 miles, we're making our first major turn, which is onto I-75 right here. So we'll be headed south towards Tampa, St. Pete, and then beneath that down to the Fort Myers area. It's more than halfway, it's about 300 miles, it's a 500-mile trip, so we got about another 3.5 hours, 3 hours or so ahead of us. As far as time is concerned, I'm doing very, very well on time. I got out this way in about 4 hours, so I think it'll be closer to 7.5 hours to meet my destination. Looks like we might be in for a little bit of rain. Getting a little dark out there. Well, the rain sprinkled real fast and then it was over. That was it. It looks like it's about to start clearing up again. All that flipping that I was doing on the way back from New Jersey is not happening here. I'm doing 70 miles an hour in the rain and I don't feel a single slip. So I blame those roads. Those roads really, really suck. Kings Highway exit. I used to have a girlfriend that lived right off of there. She used to work at the Publix. That was like 14, 15 years ago. I had learned a lot of things of what to do in a relationship. Not what not to do, but rather what to do. And if I ever get bullied, something like that again, I certainly know how to get out of such a situation. But anyway, we're going to get off over here and get some... Up ahead is the I-75 bridge over the Caloosahatchee River. As soon as you get to the other side of this, you're in Fort Myers. So as soon as we get over here, we're going to be looking for Martin Luther King Drive or Road or whatever the heck it was. It's been a And here's our exit. Welcome to Lehigh Acres. I told you this was a boring trip. There's not much around here and there's not much to see on the way here. 8 hours of nothing. My father is a bit of a nautical decoration zealot, and he's also semi-retired, so he's got a lot of time on his hands, and unfortunately, his amount of nautical stuff has exceeded the volume of his home, so some of it overflowed into the front yard. Well, we finally made it. Long trip. With all that traffic I ran into when it was raining so hard and how slow I had to go. It actually took me close to 9 hours. I'm glad that we made it here and that everything's safe and I didn't run the car off the road. I did see somebody else did that in an SUV on the way up here, and unfortunately they're not doing quite so well. I saw an ambulance appear and they were pulling people out of it, so it was quite a mess, but I'm okay. And there's Fort Myers, Caloosahatchee River again. Right over there where you see those tall buildings, that's downtown Fort Myers. And no oil over here, not yet. I see a lot of swirlies in the water, but that doesn't look like oil to me. I'm starting to smell the smoke. Good. Uh-oh. Oh! That must have been loud as hell if he was standing there.
I know. That was a good one. Yep.
Yay. Whew, that was bright.
Oh, I know. Somehow, somebody over in the neighborhood got a hold of one of those commercial ones. The commercial fireworks?
Yeah.
I mean, it went up and around us.
I see one blow up on the ground again.
Did you get that on tape?
Yeah, I think. Pretty sure.